All right, everybody, welcome back in. It is June 29th, 1 week before the big 4th of July, and I am Casey.
I'm Kevin.
And welcome to Express Mail, episode 22, I believe. I think so. So anyway, welcome in to today. We're going to start out with some birthdays. It's a pretty big week in the birthday world.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. He's your age.
Is he 62?
He was born in 62.
Oh, he's born in 62. So,
That's
yeah,
right.
he's a couple months older than I am.
July 3rd.
No, I'm older than he is because he'll be 62, right?
Oh, yeah. This next week he'll be 62. No, he was born in 62.
So he'll be 63. So, yeah, he's a couple months older
Sorry,
than
I
I
should
am.
have put the week. Yeah, that's the year they were born.
Okay.
Up there. Because that can get confusing. Because
Then you got
he was born in the
Iron
60s.
Mike Tyson.
Big era Mike Tyson. He's done a lot better with himself here in the last 10 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had that one act play kind of thing going on for a while, you know, talking about his own life and all that. You know, and then he
does some funny stuff.
hangs out with Michael Francis too.
He sure does.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Let's go back to Tom Cruise. Let's expand on Tom. What do you think about his acting career? Because I know everybody freaks out about his personal life and
He's a weird dude. There ain't no doubt about that.
What's it called? What's that church?
I don't even know what it is.
Anyway, some church that he goes to and everything. But you have to compartmentalize people like him. If you watch him just as an actor, I think he's one of the best to ever hit the screen, as far as I'm concerned. I put him up there with people like, you know, John Wayne, Clint Eastwood. He's kind of he started acting when Clint was almost in the middle of his big time.
Mm-hmm.
And so
what was the first one? That Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Was that his big breakout movie? Or
you know, I don't know. You know, the one where he slides across the floor in his socks. Was that it?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that one. The ones that I think here just is incredible in are all these.
I think that's where he kind of got his start at. Right there was that one.
Yeah.
Or his big breakout movie. And then from then on, it's been a lot of action movies and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He's a good actor, ain't no doubt. He's a weird cat.
Great actor.
He's one weird dude.
Really enjoy watching this movie. Doesn't he have a new one coming out soon, or was it?
I think the last Mission Impossible thing.
That's right. That was coming out probably next week on 4th of July, probably.
Yeah.
All right, so we hit Mike Tyson, crazy dude, but I think he's doing a whole lot better now.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that next one? I can't
Princess
read my
Di.
line. Princess Diana. She would have been.
She was 60. Was she
She
born
was
in
born in
61?
61, so she's a year older than you.
Yeah, she's a year older than me. She'd have been an old lady by now.
Yeah, she sure would have. God, it's hard to believe that's been that long
Man,
ago.
I was
We read that name.
I was at I was in the back of I remember talking about that vineyards over there by my house when I grew up in the Grove. That's where I was at when I remember talking about it. Somebody in there. I don't remember if that's when it happened or not. It wasn't obviously, but
Right.
that's just yeah, that was God. I'm thinking, man, that was back in the early 90s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a long, long time ago. So if she
Or
was
was it
born
the
in
late
61, she'd be 64 now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Should be 64
this
on
year.
the first.
Pam Anderson.
Big Pamela Anderson. Big time. I don't know
She's
what
been
you
married.
call her. I mean,
She was an
actress.
actress at one time.
Yeah.
You know what's that movie where they run down the slow motion in the on the beach? You know.
Oh,
That's where she started.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The swimming.
Yeah,
The lifeguard. Movie.
Yeah, she was one of them. I think it's where she got discovered. I think she's from Canada. She was like a beer girl or something other. You know, like they had like a cheerleading kind of or group or whatever, and somebody discovered her or whatever. Anyway,
It wasn't it Flipper she was in. First episode of Flipper. She running down the beach.
I just remember them in slow motion. When they come
what
on
is
there.
the name of that? Oh, Goofy. Oh, what's his name?
Yeah.
The Knight Rider.
Yeah, he was.
He's hilarious. He was in that. But anyway, can't believe we can't think of that. But never did really watch that. Dan Aykroyd. Now,
he was a funny dude.
the Blues Brothers movie was. I was living in Colorado. Was laying in bed one night with the radio on, and the DJ come across and said, if you're the something caller, you get tickets to the premiere of the Blues Brothers movie. and I was that caller.
Oh yeah.
I got to go on a Thursday night before they released it to everybody on a Friday night, and I think I went back and watched that movie at the movies like 5 times. I just thought it was that good because the music, the action, just the comedy. I just thought it was a great movie. The Blues. My parents thought I'd lost my mind.
Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
Great stuff.
That was
Great stuff.
and that dude checked out not long after that movie, wasn't it? He wasn't one long.
Yeah. Yeah. So, was it suicide or accidental overdose?
No, I think he OD'd or something.
Yeah.
Other one kind of deals. He was kind of jacked up on that stuff.
And then we got, and so how old would Dan Aykroyd? Well, Dan Aykroyd was born at 52, 10
So
years.
he's 10 years older than I am. He's in his 70s.
Wow, yeah.
He's old.
Calvin Coolidge, unfortunately, is not still with us. He was born in
72.
1872. I need to wear glasses. I can't see that.
Yeah, he would have been 120, no, 100,
72.
about 140 years old.
Wow.
150 years old. Excuse me.
President of the United States, Mr. Coolidge. So that's our birthday.
Did he do anything? Did Calvin Coolidge do anything? I never really hear him. Anyway, you know.
I'm sure he did something.
But I mean, like stand outish, you know, like
He probably did, but I have no clue.
I don't either.
If he was born in 1872, and we didn't look up what years he was president, I should have wrote that up there, but I didn't. So anyway, Calvin Coolidge.
So that's the birthdays.
That's the birthdays. There were a few more, but they weren't that important, so I didn't write them up there.
Probably
so,
wouldn't have known who they were anyway.
No, not at all.
This day in Texas history.
Here we go with Texas history. Thank you to the suggestion of our other brother, Daryl.
In Velasco, I guess this is a town in Texas, or was, or something, because I've never heard of it. But anyway, Mexican forces surrendered to Texans. So this was apparently after the Alamo.
After the Alamo.
I don't know.
Has to be.
That happened on June 26th. And in 1928, the Democratic Convention was held in Houston, Texas. And that's the first time that a Democratic Convention was held in a southern state since 1860. So, 60 years there, 65 years that they didn't.
What year was that? 18?
1928.
Well,
But that was the first one since 1860 in a southern state. Democrats stayed up north.
Wow.
So,
we can only hope.
yeah, maybe I wish they still would.
Yeah.
And in 1949, you've heard of Dow Worthington Gardens, haven't you?
Not sure.
Well, that's a community. That's a name. That's an incorporated town. That happened in 1949.
Where's that at? Where
It's
at?
kind of in It's a DFW town,
Oh,
but it was
wow.
a mixture of Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington. So they petitioned in 1949 to incorporate that little section
And
there.
what was it called?
Dow Worthington Gardens.
Wow.
So there you have it.
It's kind of like
Some other stuff happened in
Euless,
Texas
Bedford.
history. Yeah, HEB.
HEB.
Some other stuff probably happened, but it wasn't really.
What,
There's a little tidbit from Texas history.
Let's talk about the big, beautiful bill that is just passed an initial thing in the Senate. I don't know how many times they have to pass it in the Senate, but this is getting ridiculous.
They passed something to be able to. They had votes on it to start debate about it.
moving forward in it.
Yeah, so they have to have a vote so they can have a debate.
And it
Which
won
is kinda-
51 to 49
Yeah,
to
151.
move forward.
Then they had they're going to read the bill. They wanted the bill read. Democrats did, and I think that was just a stall tactic. But what they did is they took aides from these Republicans and they switched out. Like some, they just took turns reading, and they got it knocked out. It just went straight through. But anyway, they were talking about just bypassing that. But Chuck Schumer, Schmucky Schumer, he decided that they needed to read it, so they kept reading it and got it done. And now they'll go into debate, and I don't know how long that's going to take, but I'm just ready for the overtime thing to happen. No taxes on overtime.
Yep.
And there's something to do with 12,500. I don't know if it's the first 12,500 that you make overtime, which I'll wipe that out pretty quick.
Yeah, boy, will you ever.
So I don't know, but anyway, that's still a big fat pay raise for a lot of people. A lot of people. If you work overtime, get ready because whatever amount of overtime, if you work 20 hours overtime and you make $20 an hour, you're gonna make $30 an hour for those. That's $600, and you'll bring all of it home. So,
and is there a limit on that?
That's what I'm saying. I read something about 12.5, and I don't know if after 12.5 they start taxing you. I don't know, but if that's the case, then I'll still make a big chunk of money.
Yeah, you will.
So I'm good with that. And what else was it that we were?
Well, the tax cuts from 2017
Right.
that President Trump initially put into play.
They were set to expire at the end of this year.
So they will become permanent if we get this thing. If we don't get this thing passed, then we're toast. It's time to move to where's Bubba living?
Maybe we'll go to the Philippines. Yeah,
It's time to move to the Philippines. Border security is in the bill as
more
well.
money. Yeah, more money's being spent on border. That's a lot of it. A lot of the pushback that they've been having is there's too much spending in the bill. Well, they've cut a lot of stuff too, Medicaid and illegal immigrants, aliens, whatever you want to call them. They've been getting Medicaid for free, and so they're cutting all that out. So a lot of this is being paid for with stuff like that. But they're up in the border security and military and something else. I forget what that was. But anyway.
Yeah, and then also one of the things in the bill was no more loafing off. If you can work,
exactly,
you're going to have to work, which
a lot of people been riding.
Used to be common sense.
Yeah, even if you got a welfare check, if you were working at a job somewhere and you just weren't making enough money, and there was a certain point where you could apply for it, and they would supplement you for however much they thought you didn't make versus they would kind of build it up to a certain point. Well, now people are just got to the point where they just hang out at the house and watch soap operas all day and draw welfare check. That ain't happening no more. If you're able-bodied, you will be working.
Yeah.
So there's some of that,
and that's part of the Democrats.
That's buying votes, man. Hey, just stay at home. We'll pay you. We'll take care of you. You don't worry about it. And
we'll keep giving you. We'll be Santa Claus, like Rush used to say.
Yeah. So,
all right, you want to talk about the nuclear?
The nuclear.
The nuclear.
Yeah.
Strikes on Iran.
We weren't here last week, so we got to miss that. But anyway, we were
talking about that. The
guy, whoever this supreme leader, they call him the supreme leader.
Yeah.
Ayatollah, whatever.
Which could have been taken out 2 weeks ago easily, apparently.
Yeah, they knew where this guy was staying and everything, and they didn't kill him. So there's that. They went over there strictly to bomb the nuclear sites.
Yeah.
And there was 3 different places they did this. But what's cool about this, you won't hear it from the media. All they're talking about is just the act itself, dropping bombs on these nuclear sites. But you listen to Pete Hegseth, and he's talking about these guys flew them planes for 36 hours.
Getting refueled in the air.
Now, I don't know if any of you have ever driven a car for 36 hours. I've been driving a truck for 4 decades, over 4 decades. I've never driven a truck for 36 hours. Straight. About 24 or 5, maybe.
And in the B-52s, only 2 people can fit in there, right?
I think so.
I think that's all they can fit in there. So they're there for the 36.
Yeah.
Was it 36 hours round trip or one way?
I think so.
Round trip,
yeah. They did that to start with. Had to fuel, I don't know how many times. A couple of times they had to fuel in midair, So that's a challenge in itself. They did that. Then they precision dropped these bombs right where they wanted to drop
right on the target.
And wiped all that out. So we don't have to worry about Iraq throwing nukes over to Israel or
even to us now with their ballistic missile
coming to
program
us. That's the reason they wanted it to start with is Israel and us. So I figure Israel's more their neighbor, so that's probably where it would have happened first. And if that would have been the case,
I would have think they had to have a case of Red Bull in the cockpit with them.
I bet they
And
had
I would
something.
think too. You think about what you're doing. The adrenaline would just be
Yeah, it'd
off
be
the
a
charts,
yeah.
man. Thinking about what you're fixing to go do. That would be freaking
Oh
awesome.
yeah, I'm sure.
And the Democrats who are crying about all this, if it would have been a Democrat, which it couldn't have been a Democrat, they're not smart enough to pull this off. But if it would have been a Democrat, they would have been praising him and
Oh yeah,
how
greatest thing in the
great
world.
he is and how wonderful he is, and nobody else could do something like that. So it's just sick to
Presidents
watch
as far
these
back
people.
as Clinton have done the exact same stuff. And Obama,
he get the aspirin factory.
he threw. Yeah, well, yeah, one of them did. Was that Obama? Or was it?
I forget if that was Clinton or Obama hit the aspirin factory
Yeah.
over there, which was no threat to us at all.
Well, anyway, they've been doing stuff like this for years, for decades, and nothing was ever said about any of those guys doing what they did. But now all of a sudden, when Trump goes and does this, all these idiots that want to it's like it's a power trip, in my opinion. They wanted to be able to tell him he could go do that. Well, he didn't tell them because as soon as you tell them clowns,
everybody would know
everybody
about
in
it.
the world knows
it would
about
be a surprise.
Yeah. And something would have went wrong over there. So that's why he didn't tell them. And he has that right under the War Powers Act or something other.
Yeah.
So
you don't need Congress to go bomb a couple places.
No.
He only needs Congress if he's
going to declare war
on somebody. He needs that. But to do what he did the other day, no president's ever had to get an act of war signed by Congress. So stop with all that crap.
It is a load.
It is. It is beyond stupid. Talking about stupid, New York mayor front runner.
Yeah, how about this guy? He is just a flat out. He's a Muslim, and I got hey, I mean Muslims are Muslims. They're free to do whatever they want to do as far as their religion goes. But Muslims they're not friend to Christian type folks.
No, they're not.
They don't.
Not that I know
of. Plus, he's a devout socialist, which is basically he's talking about city-run grocery stores.
Free bus, free trains, taking the retail outlet places in the subway that are selling goods and services to people, clearing them out and making them place for homeless people to sleep and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
If New York...
There's going to be a mass exodus out of New York.
Yeah, and there already is, according to this real estate guy. He said he's had thousands and thousands of people trying to sell their house and move into a conservative state. But my deal is, if New York,
Texas is closed.
If you freaking pick
this
guy over, if you pick this clown over somebody else, what happens to you next? You deserve. Now, I really feel. I mean, if I was living in New York and I think like I do, I'd be moving.
I'd have been out a long time ago.
Yeah,
exactly. I couldn't stand to stay.
If you get this clown, it is going to be freaking. What's that show Kurt Russell was in years ago?
Red October.
No, the one where they let New York be a big prison, crazy area, and they put a thing around.
I remember something, but I don't remember the name of it.
But that's exactly what it's going to turn into. There will be mass murders, mass rapes. It'll become total chaos because another thing he don't believe in is cops.
Defunding the cops.
Defunding the cops. Hey, you people
prisons,
over there,
and not. I don't know what he's talking about as far as the prisons. I don't know if he's talking about turning them all loose.
Escape from Alcatraz. What I was thinking of. Remember that? Kurt Russell.
But that's in San Francisco.
I know, but I mean the way they just let all that become.
Yeah.
No. I'm thinking of something else. Something of New York.
I don't know.
I'll come up with it in a minute. But anyway, it's the same concept. They just let everybody go in there and they put walls up around it and they just let them all do what they want to do. And that's what New York's going to end up being if you vote this idiot in. I can't believe the Democrats have put him at the front row, but I can believe it.
The only state in the United States of America whose lost population, I heard this here a little while back, is California. And the whole world sees how California is being run. People are bailing out. One of the prettiest states in the country. I've been
Yes.
up and down the whole
True.
state, and there's beautiful areas out there. I mean, there's not so beautiful areas, but every state's got those. But it's just a beautiful place. But it is just being run in the ground, and all the when it takes 3 hours to get from Weatherford, Texas to Terrell, Texas, and there's 0 wrecks. We got all these Californians. I mean, they're all moving here.
Yes. They are.
So you New Yorkers, when you vote this clown in,
don't be moving
don't
up
be coming
here.
down to Texas. Florida
Yeah.
over there needs some folks, maybe.
Yeah. Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's a good choice.
Yeah, go to Oklahoma.
You want a conservative state? There's not a blue county in that state anywhere. So there you go.
That's again. It just boggles my mind how these people are voted in, and who's voting them in. Do we know that those are even legit? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't see how people. I mean, even if you were a Democrat,
That's what I'm saying.
Because at one time, Democrats and Republicans weren't that far off. They had a way of wanting to do something, and we had a way of wanting to do something, and it was just kind of like, let's meet in the middle and get it right. They have moved so far left that this is what you're ending up with. People like Gavin Newsom, people like this, what's his name?
Oh, Lord.
Zoran Mandani? Mamdani or something other.
Zoran Mandani.
But anyway,
Mamdani
this guy
is an idiot.
is no good for any place in the United States as far as running. You know, I mean, being in control, a mayor of the biggest city in the United States. That's just kooky dog.
It's and again, what
Person in the right mind, when something goes bad, doesn't want to be able to hit 911 and have the police or emergency services be there within 5 minutes. If this guy gets this, that's out the window for you people. All you law-abiding citizens, you are on your own after that.
And like I say, you law-abiding citizens just jump I-95 and head straight south. There's good people down there. You got the Carolinas, you got Florida, Georgia.
It's just
don't come
sad.
this way.
It's just sad to see what's going on with some of the, like you said, how beautiful California is. Parts of New York are gorgeous too.
Oh, you can get upstate, dude, and
It's just
Interstate 84 running all the way up through New York, upstate part. Gorgeous, man. Farms that you see on pictures and stuff. You know, sitting up on the hill, and I've been through there at all times of the year, so you see the seasons, man. When fall comes around and the leaves start changing colors.
Exactly.
We don't get that here.
No.
It's pretty. You know,
It
it's
goes
either
from summer to winter immediately.
Yeah, we don't. Fall
The
is
grass
like
changes colors. It goes from green to brown.
fall is a
That's about
couple of
it.
days around here, and that's it.
That's it.
And then the leaves fall off the tree. Up there, man, it's just like it's gorgeous.
Yeah, my dad. I've never been to New York City, and I always wanted to go around Christmas to see all of the holiday stuff there that they talk about. But I won't go right now, and if this clown gets in, then I'll never go to New York City. So it's just part of life I'm not going to have to worry about.
I went to Boston one time and picked Christy up. Brought her back when this is 18 years ago, I guess, because Grace is 18 now. So I'm driving back and coming out of Boston, you get on that 287 and you go around here. Well, New York City's sitting right here. Christy kept talking about wanting to go to New York City. She wanted to see New York City. Well, when I got around here on 287, you get Interstate 80. I said, see that right back there? That's New York City. And I kept on riding.
No
You have to go
doubt.
see that on your own time. I ain't going over there.
Man.
I've been over there one time. Me and Robin's brother. Hauled a car up there one time. And we circled JFK like buzzards, man. Dude, trucks don't exit this parkway. Trucks don't exit whatever. I mean, it's like nightmare. Get me out of here. And I've never been back. So, and don't care to.
Yeah. So anyway, New Yorkers, feel sorry for you guys if that guy gets in. I can't. I mean, I say I can't believe it, but I can believe it.
You get what you vote for.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to something more positive. Let's talk about coming up this week. We've got the 4th of July.
Independence Day.
Yeah, big deal.
You going to a fireworks show?
Probably not.
We live in a neighborhood where everybody just goes and buys $100,
Yeah.
$200 worth, and they blow them off there at the
Yeah, they're
house.
blowing them off at 3 a.m. when I'm been in bed for 2 hours already.
But
Yeah, 4th of July is coming up this week.
Friday.
Apparently, a lot of people are going to be traveling this week. It's going to be a big week for everybody. A lot of people on vacation this week, too, by the way. Yeah. So, 4th of July is coming up next week. We may have a little special 4th of July deal coming up next week. But anyway, what else you got, Kevin? Let's talk about what Daryl loves to talk about. Let's talk about Team PBR. coming up.
PBR
Daryl,
starts
mark your calendar and get your VCR recorder ready.
July 11th. Not next weekend, but the weekend after that. You'll be able to watch PBR teams.
Now I think it's cool. At first I thought, what the heck? I thought that's all they were going to do was teams. I didn't realize they were still going to do individual. So I was thinking, man, that's kind of weird. But
Well, this team
cool.
thing
It's kind of cool.
with rodeo, if you don't know, these guys never have contracts. They go, they make their living in the sport of rodeo, and they pay their fees. They travel
Individual.
expenses, all that kind of stuff. And you hear a guy making a couple of $100,000 a year. Well, he's probably broke at the end of the year because he spent all that money traveling, entry fees,
Gas.
whatever, you know. But now with this team thing, these guys got contracts, and I don't know how much they make. I don't know what these contracts are for, but they do make money during the year, whether they're riding that week or not. They have a contract, just like football, baseball, anybody else. So it's beneficial for bull riders, and they, especially like if a guy gets injured and he has to be out for a couple of weeks, he's still getting
money,
a paycheck anyway.
Absolutely.
So there's that. So a lot of those guys, and if you get picked to be on a team, they have a draft every year. If you get picked to be on a team, you've been noticed by a lot of big people, because it's just like a football draft or anything else. When they draft somebody, they draft you because they know you're good. They know you're going to be a help to the team.
Right.
And so, but anyway, the Austin Gamblers, they're the reigning champions. They won last year, and they come in at it and it was kind of Kansas City and Carolina, they were the big ones. They won more games than anybody, and I think we're pretty close, maybe a game apart, and neither one of them won. Austin stepped up and ended up winning the championship. So I'm looking forward to this year, just seeing how that all turns out. But bottom line with the teams, it all boils down to bull riding. It's the same as it's 5 guys on this team, and they have a match, and whoever has the highest cumulative score wins the match. But bottom line is, it's you against whatever bull is drawn for you. So,
and I would think, unless your individual family was wealthy, if you're doing PBR on the individual side, there's only so many seasons you can do before you go broke if you're not that good. Correct?
well, PBR, they make a lot more money.
And but I mean, if you're
it takes, if you're not winning no money, you're not. At some point you're going to fizz.
Seasons of that.
You're going to fizz out there at some point.
But if you're able to get on a team, then you got money rolling in, and you can relax a little bit, kind of like the golf team over. What was that? Where the golfers all
live or whatever?
Yeah, started making money, and they hadn't even played around yet.
Speaking of that, in the rodeo world, Stetson Wright won the bull riding at Reno. That just ended yesterday. And he also won the all around. And this guy ripped his
Growing.
Yeah, but it was maybe, I don't know, I can't remember. It's something in his leg, maybe groin muscle or hamstring or something other. Anyway, he set out the whole season last year. He only rode like 2 rounds in the finals, and then he set out the following year for the whole year. Well, he came back this year, and the dude is just killing it. And doctors told him that, hey, you might want to think about another occupation. Well, he didn't go for that. He jumped out. He worked himself back into it, but the guy's just killing it all over again. He's 5-time all-around champ, 2-time bull riding champ, 1-time saddle bronc champ, and this year he's probably going to win the bull ride, and he's probably going to win the all around. And who knows, by the end of the year he may be contending for a saddle bronc title too. That's one of his goals.
Is he going to the PBR?
He don't.
What
I mean,
is it?
yeah,
What is
could.
it he does though? What
He rides saddle bronc horses too.
I know, but I mean, what's that circuit? What do they call it?
PRCA.
The PRCA. Okay.
And he's staying there because of he loves riding broncs, and he wants to, PBR is just nothing but bull riding.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to ride saddle bronc horses too, and all his brothers do. He's got a brother that's a 3-time world champion.
Would that be almost impossible to do PBR in that?
No, it's not impossible, but it's a lot more than
on your body too.
Yeah, PBR, they especially on a team thing, they want you there every week.
Yeah.
And you might be missing out on Cheyenne or Pendleton or whatever, one of these big rodeos, because you're at a team thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to be a champion in both. I don't know anybody's ever done that, but Shane Proctor for several years he rode PBR and would go to the PBR finals. He rode PRCA and he ended up winning a world title in the PRCA in 2011, I think.
Wow.
So he came in 15th place and just knocked them dead at the finals, won more money than anybody, and ended up winning the world title. So, but anyway.
All right, Jeff Barley, this is for you. The Cowboys training camp starts July 24th in Oxnard, California. Is that right? Yeah, and
they've been going there since the 60s.
Forever. And Jeff, you can pull out all your Cowboy paraphernalia out of the closet and start wearing it now.
Just in a 3 years when Jimmy Johnson was here, they went to Austin.
Did they really?
Yeah, he was wanting it.
He wanted to stay in Texas.
Well, he just wanted it. He wanted to work out.
And up there,
there's some heat.
Hollywood up there.
Oxnard is like almost a tropic. It's like 75, 80 degrees.
Yeah.
I go to Austin down there and it's 100 degrees.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So
he wanted to play in the atmosphere they're
we're
going to be playing in.
We're gonna work out in some heat.
Yeah. So anyway, NFL will be cranking off here before we know it. We've got Team PBR fixing to crank off, so we're going to have a lot of sports coming into this. And I don't know. We can start. It's going to be interesting. The NFL. I still think the Eagles are going to reign supreme. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs are always going to be somewhere in there. Cowboys will be interesting to watch. I can't wait to watch that.
I don't know where to go with them. I don't, as far as wins or whatever. I think we made a prediction what it was like 9-8. You were 9-8, and I was 10-7. I think something like that. So, and I don't know if 10-7 would get you in the playoffs. Especially if you got Philadelphia. If they jump out there and win the division again, and then if you got anybody like, just say, who else in the division? New York, which I don't think New York's going to be that much. But if Washington wins 10-7 and wins a tiebreaker, like say they whatever the tiebreakers are is mostly games in divisions, and then like if that's a tie, then they go to games against each other, whatever.
Yep.
I mean, there's a possibility 10-7 won't get you in the playoffs. Plus, if you got other divisions in the NFC that have teams that are 11-6 or 12-5 and
push you further down,
you're just down the chain, down the list. So
Cowboys will be interesting. I really don't think they're going to do anything. I think it needs a whole change, and I don't think the coach they brought in. I think he's a good guy, probably a great coach. It just wasn't what the Cowboys needed. So we'll see. That's
I don't know the guy. I really don't know nothing about him yet.
That's the problem. We brought somebody in that nobody knows and nobody cares about. So
sometimes that can be a good thing. He could jump out there and shock everybody.
I'm going to predict
I hope he does.
It's not going to be a good thing.
I hope he does,
because I mean, when they announced him, even the people on the radio are like, "What was that?" Nobody's excited about it. Nothing. So I don't know. That's just the mentality. You want the guys in the locker room to be really, really fired up, and they're not going to get in front of a camera and go, "I'm not fired up," or "I really don't care about this guy." They're going to act like they're fired up. But there's a difference between acting like you're fired up and you're really fired up. So we'll see. We'll see where
when training camp starts, it won't take but a week or two, and we'll figure out right quick what kind of guy he's going to be. If he's going to be a Parcells or a Johnson type, or if he's going to be
another Red Jesus. We'll see about
yeah,
that.
he could be one of them guys.
He's, again, I don't think he's.
I don't think he's the pat him on the butt kind of coach and like Switzer.
Well,
but
again, I don't think he's the kind that's going to defy anything Jerry tells him. Jerry's going to be 100% involved, and we're just going to keep going down the same path we have been for 35 years now, 34 years or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I hate that because man, there's people alive who's 25 years old and have never seen the Cowboys really win. That's crazy. When we were growing up,
winning seasons, it was like we were in the playoffs every year.
Playoffs,
20
winning
years?
Super Bowls. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
during the Landry years,
Landry
20 years in a row, we went to
20 winning seasons in a row, and then we won what 2 or 3 Super Bowls under Landry. Couple, at least 2.
We went to 5 under Landry and won 2 of them.
Yeah,
and then
Jimmy Johnson came along, and again,
won
just
2.
the excitement level went straight up.
Well, he come in and he ticked a lot of people off. A lot of people were
He ticked us off. I mean,
Yeah,
Jerry
yeah.
Jones pissed me and you off when he kicked Landry out.
Yeah, because I mean, just the way that happened.
I mean, that was our. I mean, that's all we ever had was Landry.
Yeah, but
Class act.
then Jimmy Johnson come in and he kind of laid the law down. This is how it's going to be, and didn't care what the media thought or anything else. He did it his way, and turns out he knew what he was doing,
Oh, did he
and he got it done. So in 4 years here, he won 2 Super. 4 years or 5 years? I think he had a 5-year deal, or no, he had a 10-year deal.
The first year he won 1 game. The second year, did they win the Super Bowl? The second year or the third?
No,
year?
the second year they
did a lot better.
They did a lot better. Then the third year and the fourth
won.
year, they won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, and if it wouldn't have been for Jerry's
Goofy comment.
ego,
Yeah.
and maybe a little bit of Jimmy Johnson's
I'm
ego,
sure both them egos probably.
if they wouldn't have clashed and would have just kept moving, who knows what could have happened.
Aikman
Jimmy
says they
Johnson.
should have won 4 in a row.
Yeah, I agree.
So-
They had the talent, they had the offensive line, they had everything in place. Had a defense that looked like a bunch of piranhas. I mean,
Mhm.
wherever the ball was,
That's
there
what
was
they-
8 of them on it. It was amazing. So anyway, we just pray for those days to come back to Dallas. We'll see. And I think other than that, we're going to wrap this up.
That's all I got.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We will be back next week. And until then, I'm Casey.
A special 4th of July show.
Yeah. Might even have a little flag sticking up here. You never know. Could surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Casey.
I'm Kevin.
We're out. Have a great week.
Adios.